Hi everyone. I just want to say welcome to the online workshop. I know some of you are joining us to check us out, and some of you are actually registered in the course. So either way, I just want to take a second and say welcome. What I wanted to do today is just pre-record this, but we're also going to be doing this as a Zoom session, so you can join in with the recording with the group of people, or you can just watch this one. So today we're going to be talking about who you are as a coach, and we're going to be starting day one on the workshop, and I'm here to help us get started. So first of all, welcome to the art of creating indoor cycling teaching ideas. I'm here to support you in any way I can. And so as we go through this, if any questions do come up, feel free just to reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is we want to start by going back to where it all really began, which is really just with you. So we want to understand also who our riders are and what their needs are. So we're going to be talking about a few topics today in day one. So it may be an intro course, but it's actually a workshop today. So there's going to be learning, there's going to be an assignment, and then hopefully you'll continue to participate with us. So today's topics are going to be you as the coach, your rider's needs, class preparation, and then what to expect out of the workshop. And we're going to go through those today. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help you out. All right, so the first part, and I always start with this, whether I'm teaching an indoor cycling certification program or a workshop or I'm presenting at a conference, I want us to start today with who are you as a fitness professional? Why is this important, and why do we start here? Because your classes start with you as the leader, as the coach, as a fitness professional. So you want to make sure that you have a really good understanding of who you are as a fitness professional and then who you present as to your classes. So before we dive into these drills and the musics and the playing and the cue list and all the profiles, let's just take a second or a few moments and discover who we are as fitness professionals, and then really what skills do you want to develop. So our first activity that we're going to do is just a quick little thing, and it's called Let's Self-Evaluate. So if you have a pen and paper ready, you can always just take notes, and you can pause this at any point. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what do you enjoy most about teaching indoor cycling, and why? So think about that. When you go teach your classes, what do you really enjoy out of teaching? What do you get out of it? And why do you continue to show up day after day when you're teaching your classes? What do you get out of it? The next question is, why did you decide to become a fitness professional in the first place? So a lot of people, they really love teaching indoor cycling. They went to a lot of classes, so it's just kind of a natural progression. For some people, they were already teaching group fitness, so teaching indoor cycling was again a natural progression for them. And then some were just curious about it, so that's why they got certified. Some people ride outside and they wanted to teach inside. So there's lots of different reasons. So I just really want to connect with you and understand, why did you decide to become a fitness professional? The next question, and this is a really good one to go to throughout your career. I've been teaching for 25 years and I still ask myself this question, and especially after we just got through a pandemic, and maybe we're going through a little bit more as well, but what challenges do you face as a fitness professional? So what are things that are hard for you and that you want to work on and build on those skill sets? What skill sets would you guys like to gain and strengthen? So if you were to take a minute, maybe pause this and write down all the skill sets that you think that you already have and how you could strengthen them, that's a way to go. You could also ask yourself, what skill sets do I want to acquire as you move through any workshop or course? Where are you in your career, and where do you see yourself going? That's a big question. So do you see yourself, is this just a part-time gig for you? You love to teach on a Saturday morning. It's fulfilling for you. It's rewarding for you. Are you somebody who teaches full-time? Did you perhaps retire and this is a second career that gives you passion and purpose? So where do you see yourself going in your career? Because this is really going to be a question about how do you invest in that career as you develop it. So if it's a side thing, how much time are you willing to invest in it? If it's something that you're doing full-time, or maybe you want to open up your own studio, really, what is your investment piece there as well? How do you lead your classes? Okay, so what's important to you when you're leading your classes? Have you ever recorded yourself leading your classes? We're going to talk about this a little bit later on, so hold on to that thought. So have you ever taken a second, set up a camera, set up your phone, and just taken some time to record yourself to see how you present back to your classes? Why is growing your skills as a leader important to you? So a lot of you are taking this course and you're registered for this course. So that means to me that developing your skill sets is really important. I still, after 25 years of teaching, I still go to conferences, I still go to workshops, I've taken lots of online workshops. I want to improve my career. I want to get as many skill sets as I can, especially as a presenter, but also as a coach. I love teaching indoor cycling. It's just something that really fills me up with joy. So growing my skills and getting better and better at it is just as important to me as I move through my own career. So the next thing you want to go through is you want to dive down into a little bit of our teaching values and our core values as coaches. So now that you had a little bit of a self-evaluation, let's just head over into values. So values are basic and fundamental beliefs that guide or motivate attitudes or actions. That's why it's really important, because what your values are is the action steps that you're going to take, especially as a coach and a leader. So they help us determine what is important to us as coaches and how we present ourselves to our riders. So we want to get to know what are our values. And this is something that you may not, if you're just starting to teach, you may not actually know what your values are quite yet. And this is something to take time on. If you've been teaching for a long time, this has probably evolved for you. I know it definitely evolved for me. So the question I want you guys to do is I want you just to take a second, again, pause this if you can. I want you to list 3 to 5 of your teaching or coaching values that you really feel are, one, important to you, but also that you feel like you bring to your class. So if you think about what your values are, I'm going to share mine in just a second, but take some time and ask yourself, what are my values when I go and teach a class? And then what do I bring to that class? So for me personally, connection is really important. Creating compassion, empathy, especially because a lot of people are new to indoor cycling, or they're really uncertain of it. They think that it's a really hard intensity workout. So if I can have some empathy with them where they're at and show them that indoor cycling is an activity that anybody can enjoy, I tend to win them over quite quickly. Adaptability. So being able to adapt to not only the environment that you're teaching at, the group of people that you're teaching with, and then their skills as riders. You can have riders who are beginners and riders who are in advance. Are you able to adapt to that environment? I also hugely value fun. This is a really important thing because I want to enjoy what I do, and I want my riders to also enjoy what they do. So if I can make my classes fun and I can make them interactive and engaging, that's really important to me as well. And then obviously, I'm hard up for safety. So you're gonna hear a lot through this workshop that I really enjoy the safety features in keeping indoor cycling fun, so that I can have my members for long term without getting them injured. So if you have a chance, sit down and take some time to really think about what your core values are as a leader and as a fitness professional. And then the next question, which really leads from the values part, is what kind of environment do your values actually create as you teach indoor cycling? So when you bring those values to class, what do they look like? So for me, creating a safe and welcoming place for my riders is really important. That has a lot to do with my values. Creating an energizing and fun experience for my riders is important because I want to make sure that they're having fun, but I want to make sure that the environment is also energizing through the music and through my drills and through the interaction and interactivity that happens in my classes. And then I also want to help my riders see what they are capable of through coaching. So if they don't think that they can do a hard drill, my excitement in my teaching career is that I get to help them slowly progress through that, so that one day they can do the high intensity drills and they feel proud of themselves for getting them to that point. So that is a really big value for me as well. So these are things that I feel reward myself in my career, and these are my coaching values. So take some time to really think about your values and what you're bringing to class, because it really does resonate with your riders. So the next part I want to go to, and the question that I have for you, is what do you think the definition of a fitness instructor is? So if you were just to take a second and ask yourself, if I were to define what a fitness instructor is, what would that answer be? But then my next question is, what is the definition of a leader? Okay, so if you have a fitness instructor and then you have a leader, what is your definition? So what I think, and through a lot of surveys, a fitness instructor's description or definition is someone whose job it is to help others improve their fitness, which is a very important role. The definition of a leader helps themselves and others do better, so they're constantly improving. They set the direction, they build an inspiring vision, and they create new things. They can be innovative. Leadership is also about mapping out where you need to go or where your riders need to go. It is dynamic, it is exciting, and it's inspiring, okay? And you don't need to be a hype man or, the go-go crazy ones or the Tony Robbins. And don't worry, I love Tony Robbins, but you don't need to be that person in order to be a leader. A leader is someone who puts themselves last when it comes to competing with people in the classes. You're not there because it's your workout. You're there because you love to help people. That's a leader. And leaders inspire people to continue and improve and do better. So what I like to do is I like to use the word coach, because I feel that a coach brings the fitness dynamic and the leadership dynamic together, and you start to bridge those two together. And that's why I refer to fitness instructors actually as coaches, or cycling instructors as coaches, because I feel our job is to bring all the fundamentals of fitness and exercise science and biomechanics to indoor cycling. But I also think that we need to be leaders as coaches as we teach our classes. So I think the two go really, really well together. So in my opinion, a fitness instructor walks in and they teach their class, and that's wonderful, and that's a great way to start. But a coach walks in with purpose, they walk in with intention, they have direction, and they leave their riders feeling awesome, amazing, inspired, excited, safe, welcome in their classes, right? So you want to bridge those two together. So from now on, hopefully maybe you start to refer to yourself as a coach, because a coach plans their workout. They put effort and energy into the training. So you're no longer just a fitness instructor. Fitness instructors are really important, but I think fitness instructors should be referred to as coaches, because we play a bigger role in terms of people's health and their wellness and their longevity, especially in indoor cycling, because it's a really popular thing to do for fitness right now. So you really are having a ripple effect on people's lives. So I just want you to know that your job is important and it is needed in our society, especially as we're seeing post-pandemic. So regard as yourself as a coach and be proud of yourself as a coach, because it's important as you lead these classes. So in order to get awareness of how we coach, we must see ourselves through the lenses of our riders. So we may have an idea of how we present to our classes, but we also want to make sure that we are taking into account their experience when they're riding of how we present. So how do you do this? This is what I talked to a little bit before, and this may cause people to panic a bit, but I don't want you to panic. So if you're in the workshop, and this is a thing to do even if you decide not to do the workshop, the first thing we're actually going to do is we're actually going to film ourselves teaching. So this is assignment number 1, and the reason that we do this is because it gives you an ability to see yourself as a fitness professional and a coach, and how you present. So how do you cue? How do you engage with your riders? Objectively, when you're looking at yourself, what kind of energy are you creating? So what you do, and if you're in the workshop, you'll see in your dashboard, I explain the assignment for everybody, which is great, and it's easy and it's all laid out, and there's a template that you can download. So what you want to do is you want to record yourself teaching maybe 1 drill or 2 and about 5 to 7 minutes of your classes, or you can do record yourself for 1 drill and record yourself for another drill. If you have a class that you're already teaching, it's a great thing to set up a camera and record yourself actually teaching. If you're not teaching yet, or you don't have a class to teach to, that's totally okay. Just set up a camera, imagine that you have your audience, and I want you to teach to them. Okay, so that's going to be your first assignment. I know for a lot of people, this brings up hesitation and anxiety, and we're like, I don't want to film myself. I don't want to see myself on camera. I promise you, this is a really rewarding thing to do. I've been doing it since I first started teaching, and I do it, I wouldn't say even every year, every few years, just to kind of get an idea of where I'm at and how my skills have grown. So if you have the opportunity to do this, I highly recommend it. And then what's really cool about this workshop is, for those who are in it, what we're going to do is we're going to upload those videos to our Facebook group, and we're going to ask for feedback. And it's really cool to get people to watch your video and then give you feedback. And the feedback's always positive, always helps people kind of see themselves through a different lens. And as we did this in the last workshop, I found it actually a really great activity for everybody, and they saw a lot of improvements. And then I asked them to send it to me so that I can give them some feedback as well. So what we're going to do with this workshop is we're going to film ourselves in the beginning, and we're going to film ourselves a couple more times, and then we're going to see how we progress so that we have an accountability tool throughout this workshop. Okay, so part 2 is, who are your riders? And this is important because it's not just about you, the coach, it's also about your riders. So when you're creating content for your classes, are your riders' needs in the forefront of your mind? So how much do you actually know about your riders? And I know it's a bit of a struggle, because when you're teaching your personal training, you got that one-on-one attention, but when you're doing a group fitness class, you can sometimes have 15, 20, 25, 30 people depending on your studios, right? So you don't have the opportunity to get to know everybody one-on-one, but I'm going to teach you throughout this workshop how you actually connect and engage through your classes, which will create a rewarding experience for them. But how much do you actually know about your riders is a question. So let's learn a little bit about your riders. So if you have a second, put this on pause as I go through these questions. So take a second and just write down, who are your riders? Describe their energy, describe their personality types. Are they corporate people? Do they come at lunch? Are they first thing in the morning? They're the 6 a.m. hardcore crew. Are they people that come at nighttime? Do you have busy moms that are getting their workouts in? Do you have retirees? Do you have single people? Like, what is the energy? What is the vibe? What is the personality type? The next question I want you to ask yourself, and this is a good one to ask yourself all the time, why do they actually come to your classes? What is it about you that draws them in? How do you feel you make them feel during their classes? What music do they enjoy riding to? I know we get so focused on the music that we love to teach to, and that's wonderful, but you really got to ask yourself, if they're a certain type of audience and they like a certain style of music, are you incorporating some of the music that they love into their classes? Because they're going to get excited and hyped about that. Really, what is a demographic? So with my studio, my demographic is actually quite large. I have everybody from like my 12-year-olds who are just starting their fitness journey. And then I have people in their 70s and 80s who are working with us. And then I have, the busy moms, and I have people who are, divorced or single or going through, life stuff. So I have a range in demographics. But so when I teach my classes, I really think about the demographics, but I think about them as a whole. And we really ride as a community, and community is really important to me and my studio. But you got to figure out what's really important to you and the facilities that you teach at. And then what style of drills do you think they enjoy? So are they the types of people that are outside and they're riding and, they love the high intensity drills, or they want to mimic the outdoor world? Do you have people who love to come in and they, they're more the group fitness environment? They really vibe to the music and that's really important to them. So what styles of drills do those people enjoy that are in your classes? So you want to take some time to always think about your riders, who they are, how you can engage them, and then how you can bring them into your classes and get to know them more. So how do you connect to your riders so that they are more drawn to your classes? So a fitness class is more than just the drills. It's about how you deliver a ride and how you connect with the riders. So this is what we create as the experience in the class. And we talk about this a lot during the workshop. So this is really just an introduction, but we're going to be hitting a lot of these pieces. So this is going to come from cueing. We're going to talk about how you cue, when, where, different styles of cueing, your music, your drills, the different styles of drills, how they affect your classes, the environment that you're creating, your coaching skill sets. This is all going to come up in the workshop. So really, at the end of the day, we really want to learn how to create an experience for our classes. So why is it important to think about your riders when planning your drills and your classes? You can hit me up and send me some comments if you want to, but I want you to spend some time thinking about, so why do you think that it's important for them, for your riders, when you're considering them in the rides? Because you want to consider their levels of fitness. That's going to be a big one. You want to consider the music, how loud. You want to consider their drills. So you need to really think about them as riders versus just planning your own class and throwing it at any studio, because every studio that you could teach at could actually be quite different. Community centers are very different from fitness studios in my experience, right? So it's going to be different types of people, different types of drills. So when you're planning your classes, are you planning the classes for the place that you're teaching at and for your riders? Okay. So what we want to do is we want to bridge you as the coach and your riders together. So how do you do this? So these are 6 things that I feel that are really important as an educator. So 1, how do you be authentic to your group? The second one is, how do you discover what their actual why is and why they show up to your classes? The third thing is, how do you connect with your riders? We're going to talk about all these. The fourth thing is, how do you use music that they enjoy? The fifth thing is, how do you prepare them, or how to prepare the riders? And then how do you bring your fun and energy to your classes? So you want to bridge all these things together. So let's talk about each one. So 1, how to be authentic. I know for a lot of people, especially in the indoor cycling world, and especially probably in the last 5 to 10 years, what I'm seeing is a lot of instructors who've been teaching for a long time are experiencing this imposter syndrome, because there have been some brands that are coming out that are, I don't even want to say like quote unquote dancey, but they're just a different style of doing things. And there's going to be different styles of any types of fitness classes. So my recommendation is to let go of that imposter syndrome and really bring authentically who you are. So This means you need to explore yourself as a person and then as a leader, and this is an ongoing process. So what awesomeness do you bring to your classes? That's why they're coming to your classes. They're coming for your energy. They're not trying to go to somebody else's class. They don't need to have you be, the lead dance instructor on a spin bike. That's not why they're there. They're there for your values, they're there for your style of teaching, and they're there for the rides that you create. And they keep coming back for you. So I want you to take some time, be proud of who you are as a coach. That's why we always want to improve upon our skills. So ask yourself, what values do you bring to your classes? Because I know that you bring a lot of value to your classes. That's why they show up. So you also want to listen to what your riders are thanking you for. And this is a big one. So if they say, thank you for an awesome class, the music was great, I had a great time. At the end of class, listen for that feedback. That is your authenticity coming through. And that's what they're experiencing. If you go into a class trying to be Tony Robbins or trying to be a celebrity trainer, you're not going to engage them because it's not authentic to you. And I remember when I first started, I struggled with this one as well. I was trying to be all the people that were in my industry that I always looked up to. And what happened is I embraced my personality. I embraced that I like to have fun. I embraced that I love to be compassionate with people. And I started attracting and drawing in those people. And that is where you want to be. So you can be a hard ass instructor. You can be that a compassionate instructor. Just be you. That's my message for you. So make sure that as you're developing your skill sets, that you're developing your personal teaching style. Again, that's what they're coming for. So use outside sources and reference points and ideas. But make sure that they're authentic to you. Okay. The second part is discovering your riders' why. So the simplest thing to do is just ask your riders. Who are they? Why are they coming to class? So ask them, why did you decide to come to my class today? And they're going to give you an honest answer. So when you take the time to ask your riders why fitness is important to them or why they come to class, you are going to get a wide range of answers. So it is that why that brings them to class. And it's sometimes their why is to lose weight. Sometimes their why is to get, in shape. Sometimes they're feeling bad about themselves, and that's where your job is to help them out. So how can you connect their why to your classes? Maybe they just have a really stressful life and they know that you're going to make class fun. So their why is because they just need to have some fun in their life and they know that you've got that energy and that's why they're showing up. Sometimes it's as simple as that. So the third part is, how do you connect with your riders? The best advice I can give you is take the time to engage them. I can't count how many times I've been to indoor cycling instructors classes. I will, go when I'm traveling, I'll go to different instructors classes all the time. And things that frustrate me is when I'm not welcomed into the class. Nobody acknowledges that I even existed. Nobody helps me set up on the bike setup. They don't know that I'm a spin instructor. They just know that I've come in and taken their class. They don't say hello. They don't connect me to the riders who are next to me or introduce me to people in the classes. So that's how you start to connect with your riders. You take the time to engage them. The easiest thing to do to make people feel connected is introduce that new person to one or two people that you know have been in the class for a long time and are going to make them feel welcome. That instantly creates community, and that's the fastest way you can grow your classes. Ask questions about their life and actually listen to the answers. So this I say with love and compassion. It's not a time for you to share unless it's relevant or if they ask. If they do ask, keep it short and sweet about you, but go back to them, get to know them. Introduce them, like I just said, to other people in the class so that they connect with others, they connect with the members, and making sure that you're saying hi to that new person. Go deeper with your questions if you have the chance. So instead of asking people what their fitness goal is, ask what gets them to class when they're having a really hard day, or who do they want to become in this process of getting fit and healthy? What is their outcome goal versus a weight loss goal, right? And then I always create a goal for the class as a whole. Sometimes it's silly. Sometimes at the beginning of class, I'll say everybody's goal today is to have sweaty eyebrows when they leave. Or when you walk out the doors, that you're going to feel proud and out of breath, and you walk through class or you finish class and you just feel amazing about yourself. You set an intention right from the beginning of class. Sometimes I even walk in with a little bit of humor. I'm like, who do you guys need me to be today? And I get really honest answers, and it's usually funny or sass or sarcasm, but it creates an environment for fun. So it really just depends on who you are. But if you set an intention for the class as a group, that's fun. Or if you set a goal or intention for a drill, maybe you're going to do 10 drills for your class, and maybe one or two you get really specific on what the intention of that drill is for them. So number 4 is how to use music that they enjoy. Again, ask. Invite them to send you music, invite them to share music or share playlists with you. If you can incorporate different eras of music, especially if it matches your demographic, you're going to have a very successful class. And we're going to talk a lot about music in this workshop. So make sure the ride is about what they enjoy because it is their workout, right? So if you're only bringing the music that you love to ride to, and you notice that people are kind of leaving your class and they don't enjoy it, or your music's too loud, or you're not considering them in the process, or you're not using a variety of music, if you're using just rave music through the whole thing, or like heavy headbanger through the whole thing, they're not going to be enjoying the music. But if you have a variety of music, you can put a Marilyn Manson and a Tina Turner and new music that's playing today in the same class and have a great ride. So it takes some time planning this, but we're going to teach you how to make that really simple. Okay. How to feel prepared as a cycling instructor, especially as you're new. This is something that takes time to develop. So I would highly suggest, I know you're taking this workshop, so that's wonderful. That's the first step. The second part is really dedicate some time each week to your class planning. Whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's an hour, whether it's at the end of the day and you're just kind of putting playlists together in your music library, take some time in terms of your class planning. The next part is arrive early and with plenty of time to set up so that you actually feel prepared when you're walking in and teaching your classes. Know your drills. Listen to the music in the car. Listen to it while you're at home. Clean. When I'm cleaning, I'm in my house actually right now. When I'm cleaning, my music's always in because I'm always trying to find new music. So I've got my Spotify just playing, and then I'm like, oh, that song is going to be awesome. I'll put it. Or if I'm trying to like create a drill in my head, the music's on the background. So while you're working out, make sure that the drills that you teach in class, you have them memorized and ready to go, that you're not winging it. If you've been teaching for 20 years and you get the ability to wing it, go for it. But if you are new to teaching or you haven't been teaching for a long time, do not wing your classes because you will get flustered and something might go wrong, and then they'll see it and they'll feel it, right? So make sure you know your drills. That's definitely how you feel prepared. And also, this is a big one. Don't reinvent the wheel. People before you have done the legwork for you, because I've been in this industry for a long time and a lot of us have done the legwork already for you. It's wonderful that you create your own drills. It's wonderful that you're innovative in the process, especially if you're new and you're being innovative. That's wonderful. But keep drills simple but efficient. They don't need to be crazy. They don't need to be something that's going to be, weird or that doesn't flow in your class. Make sure that the drills are safe and they're functional and they're effective, and then use the stuff that people have been using before you. You don't have to create 100 drills by yourself. If you're getting in this workshop, you're getting 300 drills already to go with this whole entire workshop. You don't need to reinvent the wheel because you're gonna have 300 drills. But if you get inspired and you find a song that you love, I'm going to teach you how to create your own drills as well. So you don't always need to be reinventing the wheels because that is just time consuming. Okay, and we'll talk about how to save a lot of time teaching throughout this workshop as well. And then how to bring fun energy to your classes. So the first thing you have to do is you have to start with you. So are you excited to be teaching your classes? I've been teaching for a long time, and I taught this morning, I taught last night. I still get excited when I hit the bike and I get to ride and people see my energy. And if I didn't love what I do, I wouldn't do it, period. So if you're not enjoying it, maybe you just need to work on your drills. Maybe you just need to find a new style of teaching or some inspiration. And that's one way of approaching it. If you really don't like it, don't do it, okay? Because they'll feel your energy. So there's ways around it. We all go through funks. I've gone through waves where, I've struggled with teaching because I was teaching too much and I overwhelmed myself. And then when I taught a little bit less, I actually started to get excited about teaching. So maybe it's a time factor thing for you too. Go deeper with yourself and start asking yourself, why do you love teaching? And stay there. Choose songs that are uplifting, that also motivate you in your classes, because when you find songs that you'd love too, they're gonna feel that energy and bring that energy. So let the music do what it does best, which is create energy and create that magic in the classes. You can create theme classes to change things up. You can use interactive drills to change things up. So there's lots of different ways that you can create fun energy in class. And again, we're going to cover all of this throughout the workshop. So this is just a brief kind of overview of what we're doing. Part 4 is class preparation. So when you're creating a class, it can totally feel overwhelming and it can definitely be time consuming, especially as a new instructor. So when we feel overwhelmed, unprepared, or compare ourselves to others, or we have that imposter syndrome, what we do is we cause a breakdown in our own self-confidence. So we want to change that, right? I don't want you guys feeling like you have to be somebody else, or feeling that you're overwhelmed, or feeling like you have to spend, hundreds of hours creating playlists and songs. That's not the goal. By the time you're finished this workshop, it's going to be very simple how to create classes. So we want to first start by eliminating the stress so we can, and what we're going to do first is just a little assignment here. So we're just going to offload it. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a blank piece of paper. Again, put me on pause. And then I want you to write down What are all the things that overwhelm you when you're planning or teaching a class? So take a couple minutes, put me on pause, and I just want you to take some time, write everything. I feel overwhelmed, I feel stressed, I don't know what I'm doing. I took a certification course and I felt like I didn't learn anything when it actually came to teaching classes. Maybe you don't enjoy where you're teaching, right? So what overwhelms you when you're planning or when you're teaching your classes? Okay, pause me. All right, welcome back. So I'm just going to put a few of these out there. So comparing yourself to others, the need to be perfect, obsessing over the class numbers. A lot of people feel the need that they have to have a full class in order to be a great instructor. You don't have to have a full class. Last night at spring break, I had 5 people in my class. On the weekend, I had a full class. I don't care how many people are in my class because I'm going to give them the best energy that I have. So don't obsess about the class numbers because it can be schedule. We just went through a pandemic. Don't worry about that, okay? Maybe you're overwhelmed or you're just bored with your music. So maybe you just need to step outside your own comfort zone and figure out music. Maybe you feel lost with cueing. Maybe you took a certification course and they didn't spend a lot of time on cueing and you don't even know what the difference is of verbal and nonverbal and internal and external, all the different types of cues that can actually help you be a really effective communicator in your classes. Perhaps you're confused about the writing positions. You don't really know what positions you should be doing, what is good, what is bad. We talk a lot about different positions throughout this workshop. Maybe you get frustrated with what gears your riders should be at or what their RPM should be at. Maybe you feel like you don't know how to motivate your riders. You feel like you just don't know how to get them to be inspired. We're going to talk about that as well. Maybe you feel like you can never fill up a class with drills. So you feel like, I've got 5 really great drills, but I need 10 to fill up my class. So you get a lot of anxiety or frustration creating drills and you don't really understand how to make those drills flow. Maybe you're bored with your drills. Maybe you've been doing the drills for a long time and you're just like, I just need some new ideas. And that happens to the best of us. It happens to me all the time. So then I have to be creative and I have to be in a creative headspace in order to create new drills. Or sometimes I just need the right song to come across and then I get inspired, right? That's why I have my music playing all the time. Maybe the energy levels in classes that can stress you out. Maybe you get some people in your class who have low energy and you spend your time focused on them instead of the people who are giving you their good energy. That happens a lot for fitness instructors. We tend to have one negative Nelly in class and then we give them all our energy and you feel like it sucks up the energy for the rest of the class. So we'll talk about that as well. Taking on how riders are feeling. So if you're a high empath person, you start to feel that vibe. The rider's needs, feeling unprepared, and then too much time planning. These are just a few of them. Okay. We had a little technical glitch. My computer almost died. But anyways, continuing on. So the next piece I want to talk about is what really matters. So it's good that you offloaded that stuff. And it's good anytime you're feeling overwhelmed or you're feeling stressed, I want you to take some time and just write down all the things that you are feeling overwhelmed with. Do a dump because as coaches, sometimes we need to offload all that stuff in order for us to figure out what actually really matters. So what really matters is how you make the riders feel. So are you making your riders feel safe? Are you making your riders feel valued? Do they feel connected to you? Do they feel inspired? Do they feel a sense of pride? Do they feel seen by you? At the end of the day, that's why they're coming to your class. All the stuff that you offloaded is important, but go back to what really matters, how you're making those riders feel. So let go of the stresses that come with it. We want to work on those things that we're feeling that are overwhelming. But if we go back to this list or whatever your list was, take some time and chunk it down. Out of all the things that you wrote down, what is 1 or 2 things that you know that if you worked on improving, it would actually make you feel better about teaching and planning your classes? That's why we do this. And then come back here and ask yourself, what really matters to teaching my classes and what really matters to me as a coach and what really matters to how I make my riders feel. So this is something that you can borrow by any means. And what I mean by chunking it down is taking what we just talked about and moving it into manageable pieces or moving pieces and then adding to your teaching skill set, or I always call it my teaching toolbox. So what I do in terms of teaching as a whole, I break it down into 3 categories. So I break it down into drills, I break it down into how my classes flow, and then I break it down into connection. And you'll see this throughout the workshop. So when we talk about drills, the things that are important are planning my drills so that they flow, utilizing the triangle, which we're going to talk about again in the workshop, utilizing the 6 styles of drills that makes it easy to teach classes, choosing music, and then choreographing to the songs. So that's one category. So maybe I'll spend some time working on a Saturday in that category. The next thing I might work on is the way my classes flow. So when I'm preparing my playlist, how does my playlist flow? What kind of energy is my playlist bring into my classes? Where and when do I cue in order to motivate or to inspire or to communicate? So that would be, cueing is definitely part of the flow of your class. Starting goals and intentions. So I make sure that I take some time to think about what do I want my class to experience today. And then sometimes I do a theme ride or something fun or something interactive to make my class flow and have fun. And then the final piece that I spend time working on is the connection piece. So the energy, the learning styles. So how do your riders learn, or how do they perceive the information that you're communicating, which would be audible, visual, or kinesthetic. Your cueing, so spending some time working on cues, spending some time working on safety, going back to what you learned in your certification courses, your biomechanical skills, your bike setup, keeping your rider safe, working on, understanding what interval training is, understanding the different styles of training. So you're going back and you're working on the education piece, which is your safety. That is going to help you connect with your group. And then interaction, how you interact with your riders, and then also that community piece. So how can you create community in your classes, which is important. So you can create your own categories or borrow mine, but when you're thinking about how do you prepare your classes or times that you want to work on certain things in your classes, break it down into 3 categories. So it's manageable, it's movable, and you're chunking it down. So keep things very simple. And then just to kind of finalize really what we're going to talk about in the workshop as we move through the next 6 to 8 weeks. So these are our modules. Sorry about that. I forgot to change the date. So the live ride is not on November 28th. It's going to be coming up in June. So the modules and live ride. So the first module that we're going to be doing is the art of cueing and learning style. So we're really going to talk about how you communicate with your riders. The second module that's coming up will be the art of music and song selection. And you know that this is a really important piece, and we want to spend some time on this. It's not just choose a song and create a drill. There's a lot that has to do with music. The next chapter or the next module is going to be the different types of interval training, and we're going to be using the triangle of training. And then we're going to move on to the different styles of drills. There's actually 6 styles of drills that we're going to be working with. And then we're going to actually work on how to create a playlist, because that's important, but everything has to be layered. We can't start with creating a playlist, or we can't start with songs. We need to first start with cueing, and then we're going to layer the music, and then we're going to layer the different types of interval training, layer the styles of drills, and then we're going to put all that together. And once you have all that knowledge and information, then we're going to put that into how do you create a playlist, and then really talk about all those components and all those modules that actually create that rider's experience. And then finally, we're going to enjoy a live ride together. And again, everything that we're going to be doing is going to be pre-recorded. So you'll be able to watch it and hang out with us if you can't make the live sessions. So as we work through these modules, so the next 6 to 8 weeks is an opportunity to break down learning into small, manageable modules for fostering growth. The reason I do this is because as a fitness instructor for so long, and yes, I'm an educator, but I'm also a fitness instructor and a coach, and I love to go to workshops myself, but I can't stand going to a workshop and then having so much content thrown at me that I don't know how to bring it back to my classes. So the reason I created this workshop and the way I created the workshop is that so it's manageable, and we learn and we gain skills that we will have for a lifetime. And also because I like to make things fun, and I want this to be an enjoyable experience for you. So I don't want there to be stress. I don't want there to be timelines. If you don't finish it in 8 weeks, it's not the end of the world. But what I want you to do is I want to give you guys a good time frame, and we're going to be dynamic in this process. I worked with the last group. It took us a little bit longer because we got to spend more time engaging with each other, and that just worked out well. So what you want to do is you want to set a goal for the outcome of this workshop. So what do you want to accomplish? How will you make it possible? How are you going to put the tools into action? And then how are you going to fully engage with the community in that Facebook group, right? And then, so how are you going to bring your personality to the group? Because I love seeing everybody's personalities and the experience that you bring. And I do love if you've been teaching for a long time and you feel that you have content or value or education or anything, even if you've been teaching for a couple of years and you have, or a year, and you have things to bring to the workshop, we love to hear that, because that creates a community, and that allows us to learn more and engage in this experience. So that's really important as well. So the live sessions, they're going to be classroom sessions just like this. They are going to be recorded. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the upcoming module. We're going to talk about the assignments, and then we're going to review the module that we just did. Maybe it was a week before, maybe it was 2 weeks before, depending on our timeline. And we're just going to have some time to connect with each other, and then hopefully you can do it live with us. And I'll post a couple different dates and times because of the time zones for a lot of people, so we can somehow connect with everybody, but they will be recorded. And then this allows us to really stay connected with each other. So does that Facebook group, which it is important and it is private. And then we'll be able to go through all the Zoom, the modules together. And then as we, with the sessions, I'll just make sure that I'll post it ahead of time so people know when they're coming up. But generally they're going to be on the weekends, and generally they'll probably be around noon because it allows me to hit more time zones when people aren't working. Okay. And then finally, the live ride online workshop. So if you are near the studio or you live close to the studio and you actually want to come in for the live ride, by all means, I'm happy to have you. So I do invite you to participate. If you're not and you live in another country or you're far away from me, we are going to be doing this online, and we're going to spend a few hours together. We're going to write out all the drills that are going to be in your ebooks and give you lots of ideas. So when you leave the workshop, you're going to have all the ebooks, and it's going to give you about 300 drills that you have to start in that toolkit for you, or to add to your already amazing toolkit that you have. So my problem is I like to give too much information, so it's not a bad thing, but I don't want everyone to feel overwhelmed either, because I want you not only to experience having the ebooks, but I want you to ride the drills with me so that you can get a feel for what these rides are like and what the drills are like when they come, to reality. So that's kind of where I want to leave everybody today. So thank you for being part of this. If you're curious about the workshop and you do want to register, now's the time to register. So hop on and register so you can be with us at the start of this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any point. You can send me an email at indoorcyclingideas@gmail.com or Rachel, RACHELSEAY@gmail.com. And then I'll leave the link to register. Again, any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And I'm really looking forward to doing this workshop with you guys. So thank you for those who joined in today. And I will see you guys shortly online. And the first assignment is ready to go on your dashboard. So if you're watching this recording, hop on there and then make sure you're saying hi to everybody in the Facebook group. All right, have a great day, you guys.